Hey everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to film my February TBR. I'm really excited. I obviously did not get to film a January TBR just because everything that was going on at the start of this year just didn't make it possible. So I'm really excited to actually have a TBR to stick to because I find it very hard to motivate myself to read when I don't have guidelines of what I want to read for the month. So I do have 6 books that I'm kind of sort of planning on reading this month. It's kind of a strange variety, honestly. 3 of them are rereads, 2 of them I honestly might not get to, and then 2 of them are like lovey-dovey contemporary kind of things, which is not normally my thing, but because it's February and Valentine's Day is in the month of February, I thought it would be kind of fun to have something more light and fluffy and sweet. I normally don't dwell too much on Valentine's Day in general. I just feel like it's not a holiday that's ever been my favorite. I think it's very sweet and very cute, and maybe a nice dinner is nice, but I don't know. I've just never like done anything extra for it, I guess. So first and foremost though, I do want to mention that this video is being sponsored by Disney Book Group. I have worked with Disney Book Group another time in the past, and for a similar book, because it was the book before the one I'm about to mention in this series of books that they have. And that book is going to be Straight On Till Morning by Liz Braswell. So this is the newest book, the 8th book in their Twisted Tale series, in which they take a classic Disney story and add a twist to it and kind of reimagine the one that we've all come to know and love from the movies. So the last time that I worked with Disney Book Group, I was actually talking about Conceal Don't Feel, which was like a Frozen retelling, which I absolutely adored. I actually did read it last month, which, I mean, we'll talk about it in another video. But this one is actually taking a twist on Peter Pan, and she is thick. I am so excited about this. It is actually now in stores. It came out on February 4th, and it kind of reimagines Wendy's whole story in Peter Pan, because it's taking the idea of her going to Neverland and asking, what if she never went with Peter Pan? And what if she went with Captain Hook instead? So we're actually a little bit in the future with this book, which kind of excites me to see how they're actually going to take that into consideration, because Wendy is actually 16 in this, and it is 4 years after her close encounter with Peter Pan when she was 12 years old. But she never did go to Neverland with Peter Pan or ever really get to interact with him in that situation in this story. But she still has his shadow bottled up in a corner and uses Neverland and her stories of Peter Pan to kind of escape from her very boring and dull life. She is 16 now. She attends boring parties, and boys don't like it when she talks too much or is too loud or has any opinions of her own. And her family is actually about to send her off to France to be a governess, and these are none of the things that she wanted for herself for her life. So when a strange opportunity finally arises where she can actually go to Neverland, but with Captain Hook, she takes it. And Neverland ends up being a completely different, more twisted place than she would have ever imagined, and her and Captain Hook might have to team up to actually save Neverland and save Peter Pan himself. So I do feel like this one's actually taking a lot more twists than the Conceal Don't Feel did, at least. And so I'm really interested in seeing where it goes. I actually rewatched Peter Pan the other day just to kind of refresh my mind and what happens in the story, and I watched Peter Pan 2 as well because it's been so long since I really watched Peter Pan, and it really made me excited to see how they're gonna do it, because Peter Pan, I love it, but there are certain aspects of it where I was like, wow, this was made a long time ago, and you can tell it was made a long time ago because like certain parts of it maybe aren't as sensitive as we would be today, and because of that I feel like this reimagining might be really great and have so many just vital pieces that the Peter Pan story might benefit from. So I'm really excited about that one. I just feel like it is already going to be a twist on the tale, because Wendy Darling is just not your typical 16-year-old girl in this time in the world. She was supposed to be quiet, have few opinions of her own, and really only dream of becoming a mother. And already we're just seeing so much of that change. She has opinions, she's loud, she has dreams of her own, and I'm so excited to see where it goes from there. The next book is one I'm super excited about, and that's going to be Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. This is one of those fluffy love stories that I was telling you guys about. I read Volume 1 last year and absolutely adored it. I just feel like it's done so sweetly, and I love how Alice Oseman has really captured the story and captured these 2 boys. I just feel like it's done so well and so kindly, I don't know. It's just, there's not enough sweet words in the world to describe how I felt about volume 1, and I feel like the perfect time to read volume 2 is around Valentine's Day. And this is a fast read. Again, I have been just having trouble physically reading in general. I just feel like I haven't had the motivation or the time to pick up books physically, and something like this, a very short and fast and fun graphic novel, is going to be the perfect thing to pick up just in case I find myself running low on time or wanting to have the satisfaction of reading the story without having to sit down for quite a few hours. And yeah, I really don't know where this one's going. I just know that it's following the events of volume 1. Oh, I like this tagline. Alice Esmond just knows how to describe her characters better than I would, because it says Nick and Charlie are best friends. Nick knows Charlie's gay, and Charlie is sure that Nick isn't. But love works in surprising ways. And Nick is discovering all kinds of things about his friends, his family, and himself. So that is just like a non-spoilery kind of general overview of what Heartstopper is about. It is about Nick and Charlie. It is about how their friendship blossoms. Charlie is gay, while Nick has never shown interest in guys in the past, but they are still best friends. They are still just so lovely around each other, and we get to see a lot of their families in the stories as well, which just adds to it. And I just feel like it's done so well. The progression of the story is amazing. Okay, and then next is one that I'm excited about, but I honestly didn't think I'd be picking it up this soon, and I don't know why, but that's going to be Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I heard such amazing things about this book when it first came out last year, and I was originally planning on reading it right away, and then I just didn't get to it, and that's when I thought I was never going to get to it. But when I was going through my books to pick out a TBR for this month, I just figured like this would be the perfect book for February. I just feel like it's going to be enough of serious issues, light and fluffy, and romance to kind of just tie it all together. And this book actually follows Frank Lee, who is a Korean-American boy, and it's kind of discussing his own issues with identity, of how he feels having been born and raised in California and having parents who are Korean and not really knowing where he fits in and all that, if he is Korean like his parents is, or if he's more Americanized, if because he was born in California he can't be as Korean as he may want to be. It's gonna discuss a lot of those kinds of just identity issues that I feel like a lot of children can relate with, having parents from either two different places or having been born somewhere different than their parents. And I'm really excited to see how that's done, just because I feel like that's an issue that I can personally relate to. But the story does have a little bit of a twist, because even though he was born in California, his parents still expect him to end up with a Korean girl and won't expect anything less of him. So when he starts developing feelings for a very non-Korean girl, he has to kind of, again, go into himself and decide what it is for himself that he would want and how to really bring that about to his parents without maybe offending them. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I just feel like that little love story bit is going to be the glue that ties us all together, but I'm so excited to see what kind of discussions it raises. I know Books with Chloe absolutely adored that sort of representation aspect of this in the book, and I just feel like it's going to be done very well. I trust her opinion. Now these last three, okay, actually let's just talk about this one, because this one's the only one I'm positive I want to read this month, and that is going to be Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is a reread, so I'm rereading, hopefully, the trilogy. But I have been kind of dying to reread this for a while. I love The Infernal Devices. This is my favorite trilogy that Cassandra Clare has ever made, and reading The Dark Artifices really nailed that nail in the, I don't know what saying I was going with there, but yeah, it definitely made it more obvious that this is my absolute favorite series, and I've never reread it, so I decided that I needed to do that sometime soon. It's actually in my 20 books I want to read in 2020 list, and right now, one of my friends, Mika August, she is absolutely amazing. She is reading this for the first time and adoring it, so that's amazing, but she's actually on Clockwork Prince already, so I was FaceTiming with her and I told her, what if I try and catch up to you and then we finish them off together, because I really want to reread this, and it's actually really great timing because Chain of Gold is coming out in March, and it is actually following some of the children of the characters in The Infernal Devices. I won't say whose or what because that's kind of a spoiler, but what I've said so far, trust me, is not a spoiler. I actually recently found out that it is children from The Infernal Devices. I originally had thought it was going to be following characters from The Dark Artifices. That was wrong. Please ignore my incorrect opinions. But yes, I'm really excited about this. So Clockwork Angel itself is following Tessa, who is kind of a mystery. She has grown up not really knowing who she is or what she is, and in very dark situations because she has a power that has never really been seen before and that tends to bring out the worst in people and try to use her for it. So when this book starts off, it's with two shadow hunters, Will and Jem, breaking her out of a house where she has been trapped in for a while. And it's her journey of being introduced to the shadow hunter world, of going to the London Institute. By the way, this all takes place in the 1800s, so love that imagery. It is 1800s, right? I could be totally wrong and it's 1900s, but I could have sworn it was 1800s and now I'm like triple the books upside down. I don't know, guys. I really wish I could tell you, but I don't know. But either way, it has the corsets, it has the vibes, it has the canes, it has the Victorian era that I just love seeing in books because I'm not a big fan of historical fiction, but I'm also a sucker for that era, the Victorian era, so I don't know. I'm just really excited to reread this, catch on to all the things that I didn't catch on to the first time. Obviously, knowing the ending of this will totally change how I see the first book, and I'm just really hoping I'll speed through it. I remember the first one, it took me a minute to get into it, so I'm curious to see if that's going to be the same situation this time around. And okay, so those last two books that I was telling you about are going to be A Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Princess. This is the second and third book in the in the Infernal Devices trilogy by Cassandra Clare. Again, I'm really hoping to get to these this month. That way I could have reread the series right before Chain of Gold comes out. But if I don't get to it, that isn't the worst thing. I'm just kind of hoping that these specifically will reignite my passion in physically reading because I really want to find that in myself again. I have just not been making time for it, and it's really sad when you stop making time for things that you used to really like. And I have only been listening to books on audio because I feel like that's all I have time for, and I need to get out of that mindset and start physically reading again. So yeah, hopefully that kind of reignites that. But that's kind of it. I know it's a shorter TBR video than maybe my last few ones have been. I just don't want to give myself too many books to read in the month and then not get to them because I feel like I'll be disappointed in myself. But I think that this is actually going to be the perfect amount, and I really do think that I'm going to get to all of these this month, and I feel like it's a wide enough variety. I mean, we have our historical fiction-esque urban fantasy, which is The Infernal Devices, and then we have our cutesy Heartstopper and Frankly in Love, and then we have like our wild card, which is going to be Straight On Till Morning, and I feel like that's actually going to be a good wild card for me because I have been obsessed with Disney and Disney movies and rewatching Disney movies, and we're there, you know what I mean? So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this TBR. I'm sorry that it is, again, a little bit shorter than maybe what you're used to, and please let me know what you guys are going to be reading for the month of February. Are you going to go the more lovey-dovey Valentine's Day-esque route, or are you going to go the opposite route and completely ignore Valentine's Day? I would absolutely adore to know. Thank you again so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this TBR. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye! Or, bye guys.